And we are live. I don't know if that timer worked for anyone else because it froze up for me. So I wasn't sure what was going on. But anyway, we are here. It is going to be an awesome time. I cannot wait for this. I've got an awesome guest, someone I've been talking to for a long time, great supporter of me and my channel and my content. And I'm so excited to be able to return the favor and support them and their awesome books by having for the first time ever on Beast Friends Forever, a live giveaway. I've done giveaways before, but never live. So we're going to spin the wheel and see who wins tonight. And I cannot wait. But I'm even more excited to get to talk to my good friend. Let me bring it on now. My man, Nick N.A. Betts.
What's up, y'all? What is up? Oh, PDSE online. Terrell. Fellas.
All right, yeah, we got Jay Terrell is here. What's up? How's it going, man? Thanks for being here, GJ, Greg. We got Petey Barnes is here. How's it going? Good to see you. Let's see. Corey Harris Magic is here. What's up? Awesome. He is in the running for the giveaway. Excited to see you in here, man. Let's see. Well, GJ, thanks, man. I appreciate that. He's probably referencing, if anyone watched my last video I made, I did have some bad timing with some life stuff and some changes, and then a couple nasty comments, when people just choose to be mean. So I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that very much. Tobias Youngblood, who was on last night, go check that out if you didn't get to see it. Thanks for being here, man. So yeah, and we've got other people in here that haven't commented. As I always say, if you like to just hang out and watch and you don't want to comment, that is fine. But if you do think of anything, put it in the chat. I'll be sure to ask Nick the question. And also everybody on replay, we appreciate you. You guys are awesome. And for everybody, in the description down below, I've got Nick's website, his books, all of that is listed and linked in there, so you can go check out all his stuff, because only one of you is going to win. Whoops, hold on. Only one of you is going to win these. Those ones back there are mine. You guys get these right here. So, we didn't talk about that before. Do you want to do the giveaway now or later on near the end?
No, let's keep them hanging. Give us something to do in the middle. Why
That's
not?
what I was thinking.
Yeah.
We'll do it later. Give people time to get in here and hop on if they wanted to come check it out. So, we also got E.L. Montague, another awesome author. What's up, sir? Thanks for being here. Appreciate you, my friend. All right. So, welcome, man. How's your day going? This, like we said in the backstage, this is a long time coming. We planned this quite a while ago, and we've been talking, feels like forever. So it's exciting to finally get to talk to you face to face, as they say.
Oh, for sure, brother. No, it's things have been going good. Can't complain about today. I've been off, and I kind of feel like a little bit of the impact here the last little bit. My Tuesday, it's to see Pete here right after I got off Realm Runners last Tuesday. I got a call from mom at about 1:15 in the morning. We knew it was coming. My grandfather had passed that day, so I've been home ever since his passing. It was really tough because like the Serpent and the Shattered Sword, like that was release day. So it looked a little bit different. I was very fortunate, like those universal woo-woo things that are out there, that somebody must have been looking out for me, like when I set the release date for that book way back when. So it's been a little bit tough this past week, but I've poured a lot of time into my writing. I've taken a lot of strides with book 5, because I'm basically knocking on the door at the end of my series. As of today, I'm actually just into the falling action of book 5. So I'm literally over the hump. Like I posted there a little bit ago, I should say a little bit, but probably a couple days, my results for novel November. And in the month of November, for pure written wordage, between finishing book 4, plotting book 5, which was about 17,000 of those words, And then book five itself, I cleared six figures. Like I cleared 100,000 words
Jeez,
in the
man.
month of November alone.
Impressive.
So I had been talking in our Willow Wraith Press Discord. I'm like, well, our Discord and this here is basically my social life. I don't have kids or anything like that, so I've got a lot of time to write, especially with a wife who's going through her finishing her master's program and whatnot. So I spend a lot of time here in my little gray box. And anyway, so it's actually pretty good because I've probably only got about three chapters left to write of
Wow,
book five, and then
nice.
it's all finished off before I even start editing four. So stuff's moving right along, man.
Yeah.
If it wasn't so cold here in the North Pole of Edmonton, Alberta, it'd actually be pretty nice. But no, it's cold, and we're getting to the point of year we're getting snowed in. So
Mhm.
way she goes, Canada.
Yeah. Yep. That's that's how it goes this time of year there, right? For sure. Well, first I just want to say sorry for your loss, man. That's never easy. Thoughts and prayers with you and your family, and I'm hopefully you got to did you get to see him like before you got to that point and past?
Um, so I haven't seen that side of the family in about 4.5 years.
Oh wow.
And it's a little bit of a strange situation because I've been estranged of that side of the family for that duration of time. So since April of 2021. But the way that I try to describe how it was leading up to it, and even after that, is that it's kind of in my mind, it's the adult today and the adult I've been in the last 4.5 years versus the kid that has all these memories.
Hmm.
So it's just a matter of like, without going into details, just something happened that kind of drove me apart of
Hmm.
that side of the family, and I've never gone back. So really, it's the two Nicks that are kind of doing a little bit of jousting in my brain. And I mean, the cards have fallen now. Things are better. Had the time to kind of be with my thoughts and think about it and just kind of mellow out a bit. And that's where I kind of I lean on my writing because that kind of it gets me through day to day and it gets me through
Yeah,
stuff like this. And it's a consistent presence in my life. So that's I can't say enough good things about it.
that's good, man. And
Yeah.
uh and thanks for answering that. I probably shouldn't have asked that, but I appreciate you being
Oh no.
candid and authentic. That's just who you are, man. So I appreciate it.
Oh, no
Um,
worries, man. I'm about as transparent as a sheet of cling wrap. So like it's all good.
all right, all right. Timothy Wolf just popped in here, another awesome indie author and Bearded Book Beast channel member. What's up, Timothy? Thanks for being here. All right, so before we get into talking about your book, I think with all that stuff, I think what you need is a couple of dad jokes to get us started off. So are you
Hammer
ready?
down.
Are you ready? All right. I got a
Hammer it
couple
down.
I got a couple Christmas ones here. All right. First one is what do you call Santa after he goes down the chimney with the fire lit? Crisp Kringle. Oh, it gets better from there, my friend. Hold on. All right, what do you call a very 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 old snowman? Water.
Oh my god.
All right, let's talk about these beautiful, beautiful books. Oh, we got Josh from Already Overbooked up in here. What's up, man? Thanks for being here, Josh. Appreciate it. EL loves my dad jokes as always. All right, so let's talk about these books. So there's three already out. The third one just came out, and you've got four and five in the works. And five is the final book, so it's going to be a 5 book series, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's a pentology.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
Well, then let's tell us what, kind of in your own words, what the series is about, and then we'll dive into kind of book by book and the awesome covers and all that stuff.
Okay, so I have a way that I kind of pitch this series. So
Hmm.
we'll have a little bit of fun with it, and then I can kind of answer
Okay,
any more questions you have after that. All right.
sounds
So the
good.
first one is the first one. The same way I pitch out in my in person events
Hmm.
is my icebreaker. So this is my bad pitch. Also my favorite of the entire group.
Yeah,
So Princess with Shiny Rocks tries to save the world. That's bar none, as simple as it
I'm
gets.
I'm
Um,
sold
I,
already.
I also tell people, I'm like, you know what? Like, if you really want to think of the Fates of Aten on the most basic level and know where my inspiration came from, there's five of them. They're almost a team fighting force. They are the Power Rangers.
Ooh, I
That's
like that.
ultimately that's where it came from. I mean, Power
Mhm.
Rangers didn't have, at least when I watched Mighty Morphin, they didn't have like elemental powers and stuff like that. And my characters aren't driving around dragon swords or anything crazy, but I mean, hey, that's kind of where the inspiration came from back in the day. So
That's pretty
that's my
cool.
yeah, so that's my nice little icebreaker. Like on the very very basic level, Princess joins Royal Army to fight Big Bad Empire. That's that's kind of like our base in your face plot, at least for the Waking of Storm and Flame, which is where most of this is going to come in.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, if we move a level above that, we get into 1,000 years ago, before the book began. There was an event known as the Cataclysm, and it was a war between gods and demons, and they used humans as their pawns to fight this war. And that's kind of one thing that really creeps in to the better part of where we end up in the Waking of Storm and Flame, because 1,000 years later, in the start of aforementioned Princess joining the Royal Army going to fight the war, well, these gods and demons that we thought were gone are starting to wake up again. And they interweave themselves between the journeys of Alira Verbrant, my main character, as well as we discover that they might be pulling the strings behind the Empire as well. But
Mm.
I'll leave that for the reader to decide. And then my overarching series bit is that millennia before the book even began, the creator Zion came to the planet of Idel. He created 10 gods as shepherds for humanity, which was supposed to be his perfect creation. Well, the universe is a big place, and so Zion went off into the cosmos, but before he left, in the 10 gods, he basically told them, I want you to have two things ready for me when I come back. I want the humans to be united, and I want them to be prosperous. If we have those two things, everything's good. If I come back and we find out that we don't have that, well, we'll erase everything and we'll start again. Gods, humans, everyone included. So that event comes to be known as the final judgment. It's a prophesized event throughout this world of Idel that I've created. And basically what we get into is nobody knows when this is coming, but our division is between the empire trying to build this or rebuild this unity through order and putting everybody in more or less metaphysical chains, versus everybody in the South who is fighting for their own freedom and their own free will, separate of the empire, under the belief that we can come together if we simply unite as human beings. So you've got these two conflicting ideologies where ultimately the free people want to survive the final judgment. They want to be found worthy. But the empire doesn't want to be found worthy at all. They don't even want to stand to be judged. They want to invite Zion back to the world of Idel, and they want to destroy their own creator. So that's where ultimately our series picks up and gets going with Alira Verbrant. Yeah, Tim, that's pretty close actually.
That's what I
Alira.
was gonna say. That's
Yeah,
pretty
so
close.
so
Yeah.
Alira, and then the other one usually that kind of gets a little bit off is Aten on the front,
Mm-hmm.
because I mean
Oh
it's
yeah, I've said that
yeah,
wrong a million times.
no stress, and then it's the what you call it, when the books are yours, so is your imagination. Run wild.
Can be whatever
Um,
we want, right?
Absolutely, and that's I don't have the. It's coming. Should only be another month or two. I'm hoping. but the first audiobook for The
Oh,
Waking of Storm and
nice.
Flame. Super excited for that one. We're done up to, I think, well, I say we as if I'm part of the process, but no, Nikki's done up to chapter 15, and she's done an absolutely incredible job. Um, I've got a lot of characters, a lot of voices, a lot of different races and backgrounds, and somehow she's nailed every one of them. It's
Wow.
incredible.
Is
Yeah.
is is Nikki the person doing the audio? Is that somebody that you know, or is that an audio narrator you found?
So it was a narrator I actually found through ACX.
And their
So
name's
I
Nick,
don't,
and your name's
yeah,
Nick. That's
Nick and
crazy.
Nikki, exactly. Absolutely. We,
That's awesome.
Nick, NJ Alexander, and I do this in the Discord quite often for Willow Wraith. Is just,
Yeah,
yeah, we Nicks for the win, right? Um,
I love
but
it.
no, Nikki. So I actually found Nikki in ACX, and I don't like to, at least the first time I put it out, I don't like to just open it for anybody. Um, I do just as part of the process, but I actually do like to go and kind of headhunt people more or less. So I go, I listen to their samples and basically invite them to audition. And Nikki was one of like the voices I had in my top three after my initial narrator fell through. And just once I listened to her audition tape of the
Mhm.
part that I selected from The Waking of Storm and Flame, was like, yeah,
You knew it
this
was
is my
him.
voice, hands down.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's awesome, man.
yeah,
That
man.
that's got to feel good when you hear it and you just know like that's it. This is the one.
Oh, totally. Yeah, like there was
No
no
decision making.
guesswork.
You yeah, you
No,
knew when you heard
I
it.
yeah, and I didn't need to shop around, and I kind of like picked a part that would have a little bit of action, a little bit of somber tone to it,
Mhm.
just to get and especially prose and dialogue, a good mix in there. But yeah, once I heard Nikki's tape, I was like, yeah, I can't wait for everybody else to hear this too, because she done an incredible job.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool, man. Let's see. We got a couple people pop in while we were talking. We got Timothy Janata is here. What's up, man? No problems. Life happens. Hopefully, you got those larval humans their food. And then we got part of the Timocracy is here. Our good friend Timothy McKay, TJ McKay. What's up, Tim? Thanks for being here. All right. So as I agree with Josh from Already Revoked, he said this sounds awesome, and I agree. You explain it very well, um, but I mean your blurb sounds awesome already. Now the other thing that makes anybody want to read these is when you see covers like that. I mean, come on now, walk us through your cover artist and how that process went, how you found them, how the back and forth went. If this was kind of your original vision or back and forth, you figured it out. Let us know. I mean, look at that cover.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the one thing that I want to say is that I it was important for me. I didn't have that one initially, but I'll touch on that one after I
Okay.
make my funny here. But to me, it was always important to have a nice cover. So at
Mhm.
least the nice cover can sell books, because like I have a face that a mother could love. So that's why the books or the cover, at least I find, is the biggest selling point.
Get
But
out of here. You're a handsome gentleman. Get out.
thank you.
Those dreamy eyes in that author picture that I used on
That's
the
just
thumbnail.
that,
Woo.
that's just the reflection of my glasses. Um, the no, I started actually with a company called Git Covers, out of the Ukraine, only because I didn't have a massive book budget right off the
Mhm.
bat. And they did a lot of stock image manipulation, and I'll shout out Pete here, because Pete actually, when I was looking for somebody to review the book, Pete had reached out because the cover caught his eye.
Mhm.
It was super cool. Like, it was a nice, really verdant green. It had a flame motif on it. The character on it, actually, the stock image that's on the new one, is the same pose that was on the original, like the
Oh
first
wow.
edition cover. I wish I had one here,
Oh, that's
but
cool.
that is, yeah. So we kind of kept that the same for
Mhm.
continuity. But it was actually on another artist's or not another artist, sorry, another author's post, Tavia Jensen, TC Jensen,
Mhm.
um, and she had did her cover reveal, and as soon as I saw that, I was like, that's the guy. That's the one. I love the style, and I really, really, really wanted to go for the heroic side of fantasy and
Mm-hmm.
kind of have it like almost Final Fantasy Tactics esque, where it's got a bit of like a, it's so classic, it's got a stained glass feel.
Oh
And
yeah.
I kind of find that's what these covers have.
Mm-hmm.
So to shout out the cover designer, it was a cover designer from down in the Philippines named J.N. Ignacio. So Jobert Ignacio, and just found this cover artist stuff on Instagram. Sent a quick DM. I think within like a couple of days, I had the very like basic part of that with basic coloring and stuff, and we tinkered with it from there. I had originally started just with the redone covers of book one and book two, and then moved right into three. And once I had saw the three of them together, I was like, yeah, this is something, man.
Oh yeah.
And I know JN is getting popular. I see more of their work starting to creep into Instagram and stuff like that. So it makes me look at it and say, okay, well, I have a series to finish. So I'm going to touch base very, very soon for
Right.
both books four and five. And I want to have them before you get too busy, because at the end of the day, I will probably set all five of them up on my counter and stare at them for hours on end because they are just incredibly gorgeous.
They are, man.
Um,
I love them.
but yeah, that was my big thing. What's up, Alex? That was my big thing, was just like I said,
Literally.
trying to get that Final Fantasy Tactics esque classic stained glass look, because at the end of the day, I have the versions too with no typography on them, and I will go to the ends of the earth on Etsy as long as it's a reasonable price, and I will have stained glass motifs behind me at some point.
Heck yeah, man.
So yeah, so I've kind of got that in my head, but that's the tie into like the heroism part that I wanted,
Mm-hmm.
especially kind of. I started marketing them initially as just general epic fantasy. But the more time I've spent with it and the more time I've read other works,
Mm-hmm.
the more I realized like I'm into that classic noble bright side rather than all of the grimdark stuff that
Mm-hmm.
seems to have a chokehold on things today. Um, my old hero was, I mean, the Grandmaster, Poppy Tolkien, and that's kind of like the style that I've tried to emulate. I want my heroes to be heroic. I want there to be a tried and true morality compass. I don't. I mean, I could have my own crusade against the word morally gray, um, but really, it's just trying to capture heroism in my books and my characters, and that I think at least in these covers anyway, that's what's definitely shone through.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I agree. Corey Harris Magic loves the covers, and he said they look like they'll magically come alive and start telling a story. And that's you can just picture this being like showing this image, and then all of a sudden like lightning flashes or something, and it just comes to life. You know, just oh, it's so
and
cool, man.
that's and that's always like why I say FF tactics, because at the start of it, when you hear like that, the hero takes sword in hand, clutches stone to breast, and all that stuff, and they kind of like it plays out there. Like I can look at my covers and think the same thing. Like if it moved, I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh
I
heck
would
yeah.
not be surprised. Yeah,
Michael Vadney's here, another awesome YouTuber, and in 2026, soon to be debut author.
heck
Uh,
yeah.
And yes, he loves the Noble Bright. Oh yeah, there we go. Final Fantasy Tactics, best game ever.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, that's we've shot a couple comments back and forth when Chronicles of Evil, or the Evil East Chronicles, was coming out. I know we were both excited for it, so shout out, Mike.
yeah, there we go. All
Yep.
right, so this first book has the main character you mentioned already when you described the plot. Let's talk about the second book. So you had Green. Now,
Mhm.
tell us about this. I guess don't if it's spoilery. I guess, but did the colors have to do with the character and the story, or did you just choose like I want to do green, blue, then red?
No, so each corresponds to the fate that's on the cover. both in terms of color and the element that's portrayed. So in the one that you're holding up, and I don't mind sharing the what you call it. I don't mind sharing the names of these people only because I promote it on my social media accounts with all of them, because if I didn't, I'd be just running circles around the waking of Storm and Flame. So this showcases Tiora. Tiora is the Fate of Water. She is an absolute sass bag that I designed to be. When I went to JN and I said, okay, like this is the way I want Tiora to look. I
Mhm.
had looked everywhere for pictures of like Polynesian female pirates, and I couldn't find a lick other than I think like one of Zoe Saldana from Pirates of the
Oh
Caribbean.
yeah,
I think that was the only one I found.
yeah.
And anyway, so I had basically wanted, I just told JN, I said, just think like Moana, but here's like the look that I'm kind of going for. So basically, it ended up just Tiora plays a big part in this story. She's not in the first one, so she just comes in book two.
Okay.
And basically, what her bit is she ends up being the Fate of Water. Alira on book one, Alira is the Fate of Storm, and in book three, the Serpent and the Shattered Sword, Emil is the Fate of Flame. So I don't mind kind of unveiling people a little bit because I think it's just a bit necessary to promote the
Yeah.
series. So,
Oh yeah.
but really, that's what it ties into. And at the end of it, yeah, I agree. Tiora is awesome.
As I say, a lot of love for Tiara.
She's such a wicked
Tiara, the
character,
goat.
and that's the yeah. And I love Tiora. She's one of my favorite characters. And just to watch her dynamic when she comes in, and she's just such a great inject into the triad between her and Alira, and another one of my characters, my favorite of the entire series, a character named Rinley, who has like the lethality of like Mockingjay Katniss Everdeen, but with the personality of like a golden retriever puppy. Um, and so that's so like to watch the three of them kind of move and meld and grow together is just quite incredible. But at the end of it, you're going to see, because there are 5 books and there are 5 fates, you will see one per cover. We'll continue. The fourth will be the Fate of Stone, so Flynn, and it will be orange. And then the last one will be Zara, who we do meet in book one. She's Alira's sister, though not by blood. And basically, Zara's cover will be yellow. So at the end, there'll be like this little rainbow. And I didn't plan it like this, but there are,
Those are gonna
yeah,
look sweet.
oh yeah. Once it's all said and done, it's going to be
Oh
gorgeous.
yeah.
And what I kind of have envisioned is, at least in for the first one, I had kind of pictured them like revolving in a circle as kind of the story goes on. So in the end, we'll have book one facing book five, and Alira and Zara will face one another,
Oh,
which
that's
I'm
cool.
I'm super excited for, right?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of what I wanted, and it was 5 books, 5 fates. The motif with the elements and whatnot just fit perfect.
Mhm.
And the one thing that kind of creeps up, that not a lot of people realize until you get into it, and it depends if you have the wherewithal to pick up on it or not. But each of the 5 fates have 5 letters in their name.
Oh,
I didn't plan that. It
really?
just happened. It
That's
just happened.
wild. It was meant to
Yeah,
be.
no, dead serious, man.
That's
Like
crazy.
so, there's a bit of numerology in there with the number
Mhm.
5. What the significance of the number 5 is and why it kind of popped into my subconscious mind, I couldn't tell you for the life of me. But
Crazy, man. Hey, it
yeah,
worked out. It worked out.
well,
And then we
that's
got this butte right here with the red. I love this one too. I love all of them, but I this one looks awesome, man.
my favorite cover is the first one.
Yeah, the first one's
And it
awesome.
and only because the what you call it, only because just I spent so many years with
Oh
Alira in my head before I
yeah, mhm,
ever wrote it. So
right. To
she
hold
she
that.
is my, yeah, she's my character.
Mhm,
Though out of the three, the one you're holding, so the new one,
mhm.
um,
Newest one, yeah.
is far and away my favorite of the entire series. One will always be special because that's where I started.
Yeah.
Although it's one of those things, like it's a debut, it's not perfect, it's a little slow, it can drag, but Pete told me once that the last 100 pages are an absolute tear through. So I was like, all right, cool. I'll
That's
pat
good.
myself on the shoulder for that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
And the one thing I always hope people would see in my writing, because I mean, I didn't kick down any doors coming out of the gate. But a lot of my ARC team who showed up for book two
Mhm.
had said, holy Jesus, like the writing is just like your improvement is just night
Oh,
and
that's
day.
awesome, man.
And I had said, I'm like, you know what? Like that's what I was hoping people would see. And then I've
Right.
had a few that have reached out for this one and they're like, what did you do? Like it's just because it's one of those like you think like the first one should be strong, and then most series, unless it's Lord of the Rings movies, tends to
Mhm.
taper off as it goes.
Right.
But with this one, like I mean, I've had a lot of a lot of the people who've read it, especially the art team, were like, no, you're going the opposite direction. Like the first one
That's
was
good, man.
like the first one is the low point, and I mean, I'd like to do a second edition of it someday, but I
Yeah.
mean, that's not high on my priority list anytime soon.
Right.
But that's what I always tell people is I'm like, listen, man, like the first one, like it's not going to be perfect. It's still an amazing story. It might be a little bit slow for some people's tastes, but you get to book two, and the thing is just going to take off on you. So it's just one of those things. It's like the just the series is getting better as it goes, and I think just building my confidence and working on stuff as an indie author, it's just one of those things. It goes to show you, like you keep at the craft, you start
Mhm.
building momentum, and things will just get better as you go.
Right.
Really, and
Yeah.
that's kind of like where I think I've been. So
Yeah, yeah. That's awesome. And I mean,
yeah,
that's the hope for any author, right? That with every book you're getting better, you're always learning, always improving, and I say that's awesome, man. That's got to feel good to hear that feedback for sure.
yeah, it's quite cathartic or quite vindicating. So
Yeah.
yeah, I can't like just for people to see the strides that I take from where I started, and it was the what you call it, the great Bill Adams, who once said the beauty of a debut is that none of us knew what we were doing, which is incredibly true.
Right. Yeah.
And I mean, with what I've been doing, like I mean, I've written a lot in a very short time, so that's all I would hope is that either my writing is improving, which it seems to be. At least
Hmm.
people have told
Yeah.
me that,
Hmm.
or I'm just making the same mistakes and nobody's noticing, which equally
I
is
don't
good.
think that's it. Yeah. Either way, people are enjoying
It's
it. That's all that matters.
yeah, yeah, and at the end of the day, man, like all I did, like I just set out to tell an awesome story.
Hmm.
I don't have like the a lot of people like the world building. I don't think it's as deep as like a GRM or anything like that. But I set out to tell a cut and dry heroic fantasy story, and
Hmm.
that's what I believe that I've done, especially now that I'm knocking on the very end of the series. And I know the end of it is definitely going to pack an absolute wallop because it destroyed me today when I wrote it.
Yeah.
So that's like it's one of those things people say is like you leave a bit of yourself and your heart in every one of your creative endeavors,
Hmm.
and that's what I set out to do with this series. And the more I talk to people about it and the more I go on, um, just the more I tend to realize that so much of me has been left with Alira and the characters. And I know I've talked about it on my daily Instagram stories from the front seat of my car before I go into work. Um, but the end is coming, and I know that having spent so much time with my little family in my head and gone on their adventures, and
Yeah.
in Tiora's case, put up with their shit, um, then it's just one of those like I'll be sad to leave it behind.
Oh,
I
for
really
sure.
will.
For
So
sure.
I know what I'm doing next. I really know what I'm doing next. It's going to
Oh,
be a
okay.
lot of fun. But basically, like to leave this one behind in, well, I mean, maybe a year, maybe a little bit more than a year, depending on how my release timeline goes with four and five. I wasn't expecting to have five written before I started editing four, but here we are.
It's pretty impressive.
Um, yeah, man. So, I mean, from shot to bang, like the first one came out October of last year.
That's
So
okay.
if my timeline accelerates, like I'm potentially looking at a 5 book series in 3.5 years.
That's
So
amazing, dude. Amazing.
yeah, yeah, and like I know they're not big chonky books or anything. Like I like
Yeah,
to
we
write the
we
size.
need we need more of this.
Yeah,
We get
yeah,
too
like
much of
so.
those big chunky ones.
Oh man, like I had thought about it in the end, and I'm like, okay, so you can probably fit the Fates of Aten, all of them, within the Empires and Dust by Ryan Cahill.
Oh yeah.
Uh, but I was like, you know what though? Like these are the length of books that I like to read. So that's what I like to write, and I just find like it takes what's called it just takes me cutting. I don't cut down too much. I wouldn't say.
Mhm.
I just find like the arcs that I create for each individual title just end up being somewhere between 400 and 500 pages. Book one came out to 397. Two is the biggest by far. Two is 507. And then book three that you're holding is 470. Four until my first editing pass with my stories is always an addition, not a subtraction. Just throwing in extra description and emotion, not weighing it down, but just making sure I round out the picture.
Mhm.
Because the best advice I ever got as an indie author was make it exist first and then make it pretty. So that's really the way my writing goes, and like write forward and everything.
Mhm.
Um, is that just get it out of the head, get it onto a screen, and then during the editing process, we can make it sunshine and rainbows. So
I like
that's
it.
kind of where we sit, man.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
Let's see. We got Audrey just popped in. Thanks for being here. No problem. You're never late, my friend. Come in whenever. We always love to see you. And then a lot of people agreeing with you. Timothy talked about how he felt the same way after finishing his
hmm
trilogy. GJ said the same thing. He felt the same way.
yeah.
So yeah, a lot of authors understanding what you're saying for sure. And Alex had a good question for you. He asked if you had any tips for maintaining high momentum when you're writing a longer series. It helps when you're writing 5 and 3 years.
Yeah, so like the way that I kind of took this, yeah, there was definitely wasn't sunshine and rainbows in book three. No, none at all. Especially there's one, and I'll just kind of hop off and then I'll hop back onto that one.
Mhm.
But I actually read a review from one of my ARC readers who's been with me from the beginning. And anyway, she had mentioned, Audrey will remember this one, but there's a certain part in it called, like, we refer to it now as the eyeball scene. Yeah, that cast your sunshine and rainbows right out the window. But yeah, to come back to like the hype and momentum,
Mhm.
really, it's one of those things. Like I didn't come in, like I said, knocking down doors or anything. I had an ARC team originally of I think 90 people for book one, and I think I had 6 reviews. I know the industry standard is 10%, but it's one of those things. As I've gone, I've constricted my initial readership before it goes out into the world to people who have followed through with it and whatnot. And my ARC team for the conversion for book three is about 55%, because I had a 21 person ARC team, so very small, and there's 10 reviews up there. I know there's 2 of them that are reading it, and then others that are getting to it. But I would say like the big piece of momentum for me is just wanting to carry it forward. And it was such a rush. Should I say that? Yeah, it was a rush to get at least the first 3 out there,
Mhm.
because it kind of hit me last year when I went and I sold my first book at Christmas markets. And a lot of people had wondered, they're like, oh, is this going to be part of a series? I'm like, yeah, there's 5 coming, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
But they were kind of a little bit hesitant to take a chance,
Right.
only because I've had a few of them even tell me, like, I've taken shots on indies in the past and they just don't, what's up, Bill? And they don't, what you call it, they don't follow through, or they're a flash in the pan and they
Yep.
disappear. And I was like, you know
Yep.
what? I get that.
That's fair.
And
Yeah.
so that was my big selling point, was just telling people, it's like, okay, well, listen, I've got the second one is due out in May. So 5 months from all my markets and stuff like that. And then, which call it? And then I basically just said, listen, it's written, it's in editing right now, and it's coming. And then behind it, I've got a third book is planned, and the fourth and the fifth at that time were up here, or at least they were soon to be up there anyway.
Yeah.
Um, but which calls anyway, it was just one of those things, and from there I was like, okay, you know what, I've really got to get going. I've got to make this a priority and actually really start digging into this. So what I started doing was I would write book one, and then when book one was sitting, because I usually let it sit for about a month and a half until I forget it before I go back and I start
Mhm.
editing, so you can look at it with fresh eyes, and then you're not afraid to kill your darlings and stuff like that.
Right.
But what I would do is once the first one would be in that marinating process, I would start writing the second, because the first is still fresh. The main beats are still there. The only thing we're really going to be doing is deconflicting or filling in any plot holes. Um, and then, really, once book one was ready to start editing, I would just park book two, go back to it, give it a couple weeks between the addition edits and the subtraction edits, or the refinement, I guess, if you want to call it that. And then, in that, again, the marinating period, go back to book two. When I sent it off, book one off to beta readers, I went back to writing. And then it was just all those periods that I wasn't pushing book one forward. I was pushing the future project forward. So I carried that forward with book two and book three. And well, I mean, we've had a very, very successful novel November this year. So I finished off book four, and I had said, you know what, like I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna go really hard into book five just to see, I want to challenge myself. I'm like, we'll see how far I get into
Mhm.
novel November, and just kept up a torrid pace. And I think, as of today, I think I'm 344 pages into book five, and I didn't anticipate being anywhere close to this. I know it's going to eventually need it's going to need like my augmentation edits and my refinement edits, but at the same time, like I said, that's what it comes back to, the best writing advice I ever got, which was make it exist and then make it look pretty. So that's where we're at with four and five right now. They exist, and before they grace people's eyes, well, maybe not Audrey if she comes back to beta read for me again, but before they hit everybody else's eyes, they will be pretty.
Mhm.
So
I think
yeah,
it's a good approach, man. Timothy Janata says confirms what he's heard. Backlist is mandatory. I mean, if you only got one book, put it out there, but keep at it, right? Because the more books that they can go and see, like, oh, this author is legit. They're going to keep writing things. The better chance you have of them picking up that first one for sure. I would
yeah.
agree.
Yeah, and that was one of the big reasons, at least just to get that first series out and get it under the belt. Um, really is just to say, like, I've got a complete series out there, and I call it my debut series,
Hmm.
absolutely.
Hmm.
But it's really, once I've got once the Fates of Aten is done, I'm going to be moving off into a little bit of the dark side. I don't
Okay.
want to go too grim darky, but like, my next project is a bit of an ode to my favorite franchise of all time, Resident Evil.
Heck yeah.
And it's
Mine too,
got a, yeah, so it's going to be kind of like darkish urban fantasy,
man.
zombie
Yes.
apocalypse with magic. But I want to go into the
Sounds
urban
amazing.
fantasy genre,
Hmm.
because I envision it having a feel similar to. Did you ever see Netflix's Bright, like with Will Smith?
I
Did you
haven't
ever watch
watched it.
that?
I've always wanted to. It looked really
Oh
good.
man, check it out. It's a wicked read, or not a
Mhm.
wicked read. Jesus Murphy.
Wicked watch.
It's a wicked watch. Yeah, definitely TBW it. But it's kind of that Resident Evil Bright crossover feel that I've got.
Ooh, okay.
Um, and that's kind of where I want to go next. I also have a yeah, it's with the Orc
Yep, it
Cop,
is.
exactly.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep, yep.
and
It
that's
looks
kind
really
of
good.
like elves are bad and magic is
Mhm.
outlawed and all that stuff. So that's kind of where I want to go. I want to set it in our world though, and I really, really want to take it. So I want to have like New York or Boston style cops. Like that's kind of what I want to go with.
I like it.
Probably NYPD,
Yep.
or
Yep.
some fake version of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I want to set it at home where I'm from in Halifax.
Nice.
So yeah, so it might be a little bit of real world stuff and a crossover with a different elven world, but that's kind of what I have on the horizon after this 5 book monstrosity is finally behind me and finished. And one of the coolest things I want to touch on, yeah, Bright does get a lot of hate, but
Yep.
I really like Bright. I wish they had went through with the sequel. I still hope they do. I know Will Smith was off the rails there for a couple
Mhm.
years, but it's fine.
Right.
Everybody goes a little bit loopy
Oh yeah.
sometimes.
It
I mean,
happens.
we all, yeah, we all don't smack Chris Rock on stage, but it is what it is. Um, but yeah, so that's kind of what I want to do. What I want to do next, and just kind of branch away from it. But I also do have, and I'm kind of testing my own waters for that, where I've been picking away at I've been picking away at a prequel novella for it, just to see
Ooh.
if
I wonder.
just to
I'm gonna
yeah,
ask.
and like and it's just to see if I'm ready to write um, in that style, to see
Yeah.
if I'm ready, like to take the next step. But the beauty of it is once I've got this Fates of Aten series done, I'll have 5 books on the backlist.
Yep.
I'll have proven myself that I'm here to stay, at least
Yep.
to the eyes of the average buyer out there, the average
Mhm.
reader.
Yep.
And really, it's just I'll have my presence, so I can really take my time with it. Though I've really wanted to, and ever since I'm going to come back to movies again because that's probably my biggest pop culture draw because I read slow as all get out. Um, but it was the movie that came out with Millie Bobby Brown called Damsel.
Oh yeah. Yep. I saw
Loved
it.
it.
So good.
Loved
I
Damsel.
liked it a
Yeah.
lot.
So I wanted to take that initial story of valiant knights and like ladies in waiting and the damsel in distress, but I wanted to completely flip it on its head, just as a pure standalone fantasy. So I've kind of got that one on
Hmm.
the horizon too. So if
Very
this
cool.
yeah, so if this Resident Evil Bright thing needs to get kicked down the road a couple of years, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I might mess around with just a standalone, just give myself a little bit of a
Yeah.
series break, and then kind of use it for people as a segue into finding out what I'm all about,
Oh.
and see if you like my little bit of formalized slash I'm getting better at it style of writing. So
Oh. That sounds
yeah,
awesome, man. Sign me up for
yeah,
all the above. That all sounds good, dude. I think
oh
that's
yeah,
a great approach. Great approach. I wanted to show you. Michael had to leave, but he had a nice message for you. He said, "Heading back to editing. Love seeing your success. Keep up the good work." So, Michael, you're probably not here still, but thanks for hanging out and appreciate your support of everybody. He's an
and
awesome dude.
I look forward to seeing Mike make his debut too. I think it's gonna be
Yeah,
awesome.
man. Me too.
Such a good guy in the community.
Oh,
So yeah,
100%. Uh,
can't wait to see it.
All right. So in a second, I want to just kind of hear about your. We've talked a lot about the books and your and what you're working on and what your plans are. In a minute, I just want to take a little bit of time to talk about your journey to that first book. You kind of mentioned how you lived with that in your head for a long time. So I want to talk about that. But first, and then after we do that, we'll do the giveaway. But
Go.
before we dive into your journey, every day on my channel, I do a question of the day. I always like to ask my guests what their answer would be. So today, I was thinking about Christmas time, Christmas season, gifts for all of us who love books. So I said, what would be the top of your Christmas list? What type of bookish gift? A specific book? Uh, people buying your book?
Selfless plug.
That's right. Um, or gift cards to a bookstore, bookish accessories like bookmarks. I mean, they make that one thing now that you can put your book in and it turns the pages for you. They have all sorts of crazy stuff. Or what was the other thing I had on there? Man, my mind's going blank. I don't remember what the other option was. But
Oh,
anyway, what would you say?
I would say, like, to me, it comes down to two things.
Hmm.
If you're going to home make something, that's always worth more than gold.
Hmm.
Anything you get homemade, whether it's a card or something that somebody took the time out of their very busy schedule to make specifically
For
for
you.
you,
Hmm.
that would be number one. Number
Yeah,
two, I really don't think you can go wrong with a gift card.
I
I
love the gift.
really don't.
It's always a
Both
safe bet.
for two reasons. One is you can pick out really whatever you want, and
Hmm.
there's no rush to spend it. There's no risk of like you having it already or anything like
Hmm.
that. And number two, for people like me, who are introverted up the wazoo, you can buy it online and it can get dropped off at your doorstep.
Same, my friend, same.
So, and that's just the nature of it, right? So, like,
Yep,
I
yep.
would think, like, if it's not something homemade,
Yeah,
you really can't go wrong with a gift card, man.
I love
Really
it.
can't.
Perfect
Yeah.
answer. I remember the other option. It was bookish merch, which makes me wonder: do you think you'll ever do merch for your books, for your series, like
So
some
I've got
T-shirts?
some, like, I've got bookmarks that I give away when I do my in-person events.
Hmm. That's
I
awesome.
even have there's a young girl in town. I think she's only in grade 3 or grade 4. Um, yeah, I totally understand that. We've got a big
That
stack of
happens
gift
to me
cards
with
in the corner of
restaurant
the
ones,
house.
right? But if I get a
Yeah.
bookstore gift card, that thing is not expiring. That thing's getting used
No.
way too quick.
Or you end up in my sister and I's situation where we've been playing with it the last couple years. But she got me years ago a gift to, I don't know if you guys have it down in the States, a restaurant called The Keg.
I've never heard of that one.
Okay. So it must be a Canadian chain. So anyway, we get, like, my sister's favorite birthday cake is this like cake that they make there.
Hmm.
But anyway, one year she got me a gift card for $50 to The Keg. Um, and my wife and I have said to my parents and my sister and everybody in our family, we're like, we do not like The Keg. So when my sister got me the Keg gift card,
Oh no.
I I kept it. It was for my
Yeah.
birthday, and I regifted it to my sister at Christmas. Um,
Oh,
well,
Alex says it's his favorite, so it must be. I just not by me.
you know what? I'm not a huge steakhouse kind of fella. See you, Petey. But not a huge steakhouse kind of fella. But exists in Texas. Okay,
There
so
you
it
go.
must be it must be international. It's
See
like
you, Pete.
Pitbull.
Appreciate you, man.
But the
Appreciate you, man.
what you call it? The so anyway, sure enough, I gave it back to her at Christmas, and then my following birthday in June, I got the card back again. So I think I gave it to my sister on her and my brother-in-law's wedding anniversary, and then I got it back at Christmas time again. And then so anyway, we've had this gift card going back and forth now for probably like three and a half. It's probably not even like probably wouldn't even spend. See you, brother. Probably
See
wouldn't
you,
even
Greg.
spend,
Appreciate you, man.
but what you call it. But anyway, we've been passing this thing back and forth. And anyway, my sister wants one of these cakes from the Keg, and so she's asked me. She said, "Well, for Christmas, can you give me the Keg gift card?" And now I don't want to give it to her. So anyway, not that I'm going to spend it. I just don't want her to have it.
Yeah.
Um,
That's fair. Just send it
but
to
yeah,
Alex. There you go.
100%.
Gift
And then
Christmas gift for Alex.
yeah, and then coming back to like bookish merch and stuff. Like, I mean, I find right now, like, I mean, my in person events are my best sales.
Hmm.
It's tough. It's tough online. One of the big things that I wasn't expecting as an indie, but you heard about it coming in, is like how to market all your stuff.
Hmm.
So like I try different stuff. Like I have a decent Instagram presence. I'm
Yeah.
trying different things. Like I don't like to do the posts where I kind of make silly faces where I like kind of just I can't do that's not me.
Oh yeah, I just
So
screenshotted that. I'm gonna send it to you later. No, I'm just kidding. I'll
that,
put it close
that
up for you.
we'll put it on a shirt. That'll be my first merch.
Yes,
Um,
that would be a sweet shirt. You're gonna be
but
like, "Will you like this book?" You bets.
I like that catchphrase though. That's not
See,
bad.
See,
Uh, it's better than my Bright Stories for Dark Days one that I've kind of adopted, right?
I like
But
that.
I spend a lot of time like trying to get good at Canva and trying to do stuff there, and I put in
Mhm.
my face where I can.
Yeah.
And we're very fortunate in Willow Wraith to have Audrey. So Audrey usually gives us quite a few social media pointers, and
Mhm.
nobody takes them to heart quite like Dave Lawson, who's been doing an awesome job
Oh,
with
yeah.
all of his stuff.
Mhm.
And it's just one of those like I wish I could do like the smiling thing. I know Dave does awesome photos, and then the other one I always see is Zach Diamani. But
Mhm.
I can't do that. Like I don't know. I like I said I have a face a mother could love, and my mother's not buying 100 copies of my books. So the but anyway, I do well at the in person events. So like I had thought, I'm like, okay, well I'll try. So my first one was taking bookmarks. I
Mhm.
would laminate them and like make sure the corners were rounded and cut them really pretty.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
have a girl in town who is I think 10 or 11. And anyway, she makes me like little tassels with the characters' names
Oh,
on it that are on the
no
bookmark.
way. That's awesome.
But yeah, so it's super cool. And I try to give them away where I can.
Mhm.
Like she'll make them. She wanted initially like a quarter per one. I gave her $1. And it was just like if people like them, I put them on my table at my
Yeah.
events, and if they like them, I'm just like, yeah, if you buy, you can have one. If you don't, they're $2.
Yeah.
Like it is what it is. A face for radio, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's about it, right? Yeah, got the attractiveness of a pit bull. But anyway, it's what you call it. So I've tried that, and it's just one of those like. Unfortunately, it doesn't sell. Now there are a few more niche markets. Take care, Tobias. Peace
See
out.
you, Tobias. Take it easy, man.
Um,
Appreciate you.
so there are like a few more niche events that I attend in person that like that kind of stuff would fly.
Mhm.
But I don't think, at least right now, I don't have the traction to sink into it. Um, and it's just one of those like I know some people do very well. Like I see all the books to bro stuff out there.
Oh, yeah.
Like I see a lot of that stuff, and I'm just like, you know what? Like I would love to do that down the road. I just like I would really need for the Fates of Aten to I don't know, even beyond like the ZB Steel style level of like Whispers of the
Mhm.
Storm.
Right.
So just to basically get it out there and whatnot, because like my big focus is just trying to market enough to sell a couple of books a month.
Mhm.
And really that's where my focus is. So
Yeah.
if I ever had it where I could kind of make money off a franchise, I would. I would
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I would love to do action figures. Like that would be
Oh, that'd be
that would
sick.
be like the cat's ass is
Heck
what I
yeah,
would
dude.
like. Yeah, like I would love to have like a setup of action figures. I got so many down in the basement that are still in boxes, but I would love to have them of like my own characters. Now I haven't ever had somebody message me on Instagram basically saying that what you call it Nick, nobody's ever come and said, "Oh, I do custom action figures. I think your
Yeah.
books would be perfect." It's I get messages, and I'm sure a lot of other authors do of like 10 a day of I'm an
Oh,
artist and I do this and so and so, and I'm like,
yeah,
okay, yeah,
yeah.
cool,
I
man.
came across your books.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's one of those like if I want it, like I'll seek you out.
Yeah.
I'd love to do character art too, but I mean, right now, one of the big challenges of being an indie, of course, is your cash flow.
Oh,
So so the only thing I hope, man, is I hope that I make enough off of one book to just write the next one.
that's
My biggest expense for the whole thing, like JN's covers are awesome. So for one of those covers,
mhm.
it's about 180 US,
Mhm.
which totally reasonable. I don't mind
Oh,
that
yeah,
whatsoever.
that's great for how
Um,
great the covers look. Wow.
yeah, and then it's my but it's my editing. That's the biggest part of like this process. I didn't want to cheap out on it, but I wanted to find that happy medium of like
Yeah.
I've got a really good editor, and I'm very fortunate to have found Joanna, and she has been incredible. She kind of rescued me from my well. we'll say my theft of my money from my first editor that I ever hired.
Hmm.
Um, and she pulled me from the pit of despair, and I will never go to anyone else as long as Joanna wants to edit my books. So
That's
have
awesome.
that, yeah. So I have that just that little bit of a loyalty streak. So I really don't want to go anywhere else. And plus, like being the introverted person that I am, I really don't want to go on the hunt for another service provider.
Yeah,
I,
that's
I
fair.
really don't. Yeah. So it's been nice working with JN because we just talked over Instagram Messenger, which has been, the way to get stuff done. Like I don't even pick up my phone at work most days, so it's what you want. I'm the kind of guy you want me to send me an email, I'll
Yeah,
answer.
yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah. I
nature of the
hear.
beast, man.
Hmm.
So
I love it, dude. I love it. Well, I'd say you're doing it the right way. If you're gonna go all in on one thing or the other, some people write one book and then they just do all this promotion stuff and that's all they do, and then they just have that one book, and so it can only take you so far. They never write the next one. Where you maybe you're not doing all that books to bro, all the social media over the top stuff, but you're writing the heck out of books, and you're gonna have 5 books within 3 years. That's amazing. So I'd say if you're gonna focus on one thing, the writing and getting books out, I think is a good approach before you worry
yeah,
about the other stuff.
and it's like Tim said, man. It's building that backlist, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Especially to have the series done. Like I think that's the biggest thing for me is just I've had some people that have messaged and said like, "Oh, super awesome, looks really cool. I'll
Yeah.
TBR it. Let me know when the series is done."
Oh yeah,
Like,
there's
oh,
a lot of
okay,
people that will
so
only read something if it's complete. I've never been like
yep.
that, but there are a lot of people that are. So it's you're doing good by getting it done.
Well, that's the big thing is I've told people I'm like, listen, no, like jump in when it's building,
Hmm.
um,
Yeah.
because I still have the old bit of back in the day when we would have to wait a year for the new season of TV,
Yeah.
whether it
Oh
was
yeah.
like The Walking Dead or whatever we were
Yeah.
watching back then. And basically it was yeah, sell one each every day. Yeah, set them.
Yes.
It's the low high bar right there. But yeah, so it's the like nowadays I find it's the like the instant gratification piece where it's like, oh, I don't have to wait. I can just basically binge watch. It's the Netflix effect, more or less.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I find even like in the books themselves, um,
What's up,
which call it,
JA? Thanks for being here, man.
um, and it's in the books themselves. I find when people start talking about, oh, like a book's got to start really quick so it grabs me, and if not, like it kind of gets rifled back onto the shelf. And I had said, well, so good luck reading The Waking of Storm and Flame because it's like dipping your toes in a pool.
Yeah.
Because I don't like fast paced stuff. I like things just to ebb and flow naturally.
Yeah.
And the one thing I've really got into, and I've kind of seen a little bit in reviews, is people say, "Oh, well, it might drag in a certain part. Like I wish like action was injected." I'm like, well, it didn't really make sense at that time.
Right. Yeah. No.
I could have had people get into a squabble and have a sword fight, but it doesn't really add anything. And I could have,
Right.
I could have had them camping and get attacked by wolves, but there's no wolves around because they're in an
Yeah.
old town. Like it just,
Right.
it's gotta make sense. But yeah, I'm not afraid
Yeah.
to take the time. And the one
Yeah.
thing I haven't backed down from is that throughout books 1 to 3 that are out, and even 4 and 5, like I don't care about marketability and stuff. I'm just telling the story I want to
Gotta
tell,
tell
man.
your story. Yep. Yep. I
Yeah.
mean, that's any advice you look up out there, it's always going to tell your story.
Mhm.
Don't change it. Don't try to, and especially being indie, like that's the beauty of it. You can tell your story, and the people that are going to love it are going to love it, and it's going to
Mhm.
grow. And the people that aren't going to love it probably wouldn't love it even if you did try to change it. So you got to just
And
tell
that's
your
it.
story.
Yeah, and I mean, right now it's got its small reader base. Like I think the Waking of Storm and Flame on old decent reads or whatever Tim Wolf calls it, pleasant reads. I
Oh yeah,
think.
pleasant reads.
Um, I think it's got I think 40 ratings now. I think I just
Oh,
hit set 70 across the series. So like,
heck yeah,
you know what, man? I really can't
that's
complain.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's kind of like to go through and to see and to have people that are excited for the books that are coming. I mean, that means the world.
Mm-hmm.
because it's one of those like my I might not be a big name in the indie community, but like the readers that I have are incredible. It's
Yeah.
they're small but mighty.
Right.
Like it, yeah. And to have even like a couple people that are like, oh, I can't wait for book 4 or book
Oh, heck
5.
yeah, dude. That's what it's
That
all
means the
about.
world, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's all I had ever hoped was just to find those couple people that wanted to read what I put out there, and
Mhm.
that those people saw the same amazing stuff in this little series that I did.
Yeah.
Because the one thing I had always said is like, listen, it's a classic fantasy story. It's got those traditional feeling J.R.R. Tolkien, George R.R. Martin stuff written with a bit of Brandon Sanderson's prose, because I don't write flowery. I
Yeah.
don't like leaving stuff open to interpretation. I know the way that I read, if I get into like Patrick Rothfuss or anything like that, I look at it and with like my head spins and I get through 10 pages in 2 hours and get discouraged.
Yeah.
That's why I like to write simple, even if the way that I write comes off, or at least a little bit formal in the beginning. I've gotten better. But I do tend to talk and write my prose in a little bit of an older feeling style,
Yeah.
only because me personally, I don't speak like the kids today. I don't get into the 6 7s and stuff like that. Like I keep to myself, and just even if it comes off a little bit older, I find that just lends itself really nice to the fantasy genre writ large.
Oh
So
yeah, for sure.
yeah, so no complaints there, man.
That's
It's we're
awesome.
we're we're moving right along.
Yep, I agree. And side note, I have to say now you gave me an idea for another shirt you could make with that face. It's going to say these books are the cat's ass. Because you said that earlier. Instead of saying that would be I thought you were going to say the cat's pajamas. And you said the
Yeah.
cat's ass.
Oh
I don't
man.
know if that's a good thing or not.
Well, the cat's ass is a good thing. At least here in Canada, the cat's ass is a good thing. Um, be well, I
Oh man.
mean, there's two polar opposites. There's cat's ass and dog shit, and they're just like they're the two ends of the spectrum, right? Yeah, I could fill it up with Canadianisms, man. It's just
Why
but
is
yeah, no,
that's good?
yeah, it's the way. Like I'm not. I gotta tell you, I'm not right some out of her, but just keeping her between the lines on the road, man. The mustard and the mayo, and that's where I find my sweet spot. So, um, well, we
Uh,
Canadianism, yeah. Well, so the tough thing I have is that I also like being from the east coast of Canada. Get into like the Maritimers are a different breed, but I mean
mhm.
we've also got different degrees of Maritimers. So there's the Cape Bretoners, which is the island to the north end of Nova Scotia, where I'm from. That's where Dad's family hails from.
Okay.
And then there's the people that they didn't let stay in Cape Breton Island. They gave them the boot all the way up to Newfoundland, way out in the middle of the Atlantic where they can't leave. But unfortunately, they became good fishermen and sailors, and now they're all over Canada. But nature of the beast. So there's all sorts of different dialects out there. But yeah. Um, but anyway, no, it's just having a lot of fun with the process and whatnot. And what you call it, I think having a little bit of good vibes right now, I think, would be the perfect time to do our little giveaway.
I think it is. I was just going to say the same
Yeah,
thing.
man.
All right, people. So here we go. We're going to do a little giveaway, find out who's going to win. Not one, not two, but three beautiful books. And I'm sure
Heck yeah.
whoever wins is going to be saying, man, this is the cat's ass.
The cat's ass, man. Yeah.
All right,
That's
here we go.
and that's what you just call the YouTube video, man. Yeah, cat's ass.
That's yeah. We should just start our own podcast and call it the cat's ass.
Heck yeah.
Oh man. Oh, all right. Here we go. Let me pull the magical wheel up here, everybody. Let's see. Add to scene. We're gonna highlight it. Boom. Here we go. We have got a lot of names on here. So here we go. We're gonna spin this, and whoever it lands on is going to be the winner. Let me do a little drum roll before we do. Here we go. Spinning time. Who's going to be the winner? Let's see. A lot of names on there. Oh,
And it is the
Thomas
light,
Howard Riley.
Mr. The Light of Casaban himself.
There we go. There we go. Thank you, everybody, for commenting. Thank you, everybody, for you know entering the giveaway. And I do like to do giveaways a lot. So if you didn't win this time, don't fret, my friend. There will be more. So anyway, thank you, everybody, and thank you, man, for having books to give away. That's fantastic.
Oh, absolutely. No, which call it? It was important to me to do it, just especially getting the new artwork out in the world. And it's one of those, even the bearded cat's ass. That's
That's a
perfect.
good name for a
That's
podcast
perfect.
right there.
That's got to be like, that bottom rocker for where it says like triple B. Yeah, the bearded cat's ass,
Oh
Chris. Perfect.
yes, that's what I'm talking
Beautiful.
about. I'm
And
adding it.
that's but yeah, no, just to get that stuff out in the world, man. And then I know, like I said, we read Thomas's book as part of the Willow Wraith Press book club for, I believe it was the month of October. And anyway, The Light of Casaban, it was fantastic. So I hope that Thomas, I hope you enjoy your books, and I'll be the first, I guess, to welcome you to Idel and
There we
this amazing little world that I've created, the product of my brain vomit.
go.
So yeah, but
Heck yeah,
and
man.
it's a beauty. Like, my name's the one on the cover, but I don't tell the stories the characters do. So
Mm-hmm. Yep,
yeah,
100%. Awesome, man. All right. Well, let's see. All right. Do you got time to just share your journey to becoming a writer with us before we go?
100%, man.
All right.
Absolutely. So it's kind of it's funny that we've taken a little bit of a this one's going to be a little bit of a somber. It's not really tiny violin territory, because it's
Yeah.
not really a woe is me, but it's a neat story. So my writing journey started in um, January of 2022. Now, if I go back a year before that, on the 6th of January 2021, my cat Ace was diagnosed with chronic kidney disease. Unfortunately, in cats, that's mortal. So really, it's not a matter of if, but a matter of when. So I asked the big fella upstairs. I said, "Listen, like, I want at least one more year with my cat so I can kind of like button things up." And make sure I'm in a good headspace. Well, it's been almost 4 years later, and I'm still kind of feeling a little bugger's lost. Although we've got his urn on the shelf in the living room, and I make comments when my wife's around about the cat being too quiet. So, but anyway, it's so January of 2022. I was working from home. We were still under a bit of COVID protocol at work. And I took around my laptop to follow the cat around the house for the month of January. And basically just to make sure, because in his last month, he got a little bit confused. He got a little bit uneasy on his feet. His time was coming. But basically, me just writing a story, I didn't plot it. I didn't plan it. I just started writing. And before he passed, I had what was at that time the first 40 pages of a book that I called Shimmer and Shadow.
Hmm.
And so that was the initial working title of The Waking of Storm and Flame.
Wow.
Yeah. And then what ended up happening, so Valentine's Day in 2022, we said goodbye to our little friend. And then I never picked up that book again until June of 2023. And so I had made, or in that interim time, I had done a podcast called The Insidious Agenda.
Mhm.
It still lives on YouTube, and it was me talking stories all about the paranormal, basically real stories and stuff like that. And I would go into lots of facts and stuff. Like, that's just the type of person I was.
Mhm.
And I always wanted to do something. I loved the podcast Supernatural, but they stopped doing it in favor of the true crime people, and I
Mhm.
no. Anyway, So I picked it up, made another concerted effort, took a break of 2 months from the podcast. I was burning out. I did like 50 some episodes that year. It
Oh
was
wow.
massive.
Yeah.
And so like each one, like between scripting and performing and editing and all that stuff, like it would take me 20 some hours a
Oh
week.
yeah.
Just um, very good. I had a lot of fun, learned a lot of stuff.
Hmm.
I never picked up the book again, like I said, till June of 23. And then on November 11th, so Remembrance Day here in Canada,
Hmm.
after 1 p.m., I had the first draft ever written. Now, a little bit tough because it was a little bit of a heartfelt moment because I had started it with the cat and the cat
Yeah.
was no longer there.
Hmm.
But what I had done, and once you dip into the waking of Storm and Flame, you will notice within, I believe it's chapter 3, and a couple more points throughout the early part of the story, you will notice a little white cat called Ace, who is Zara's cat, so Alira's sister. But it's Zara's cat in the book, and he's described the same way as my cat, has the same name, and he acts and has the same mannerisms that Ace always did, laying on his back with his arms like stretched straight out, like he forgot how to cat.
Yeah.
Um, and then, so anyway, he was my dedication for the book. I even had like a little drawing that I did of him, up until my niece Casey came along. Um, and she was my first niece, my sister's daughter. So anyway, Casey became the dedication for the book, and then which calls, and then the cat Ace just gets to live forever in the pages. So you see him in which calls, you see him in book 1, and he does show up again in book 4, very briefly, with a little bit of a closed circle for his story because he starts exhibiting some of the symptoms that the real Ace had.
Hmm.
And really, it was just that was why I started writing, was the cat. Now, the one thing that not a lot of people know is that I served 13 years in the Canadian Armed Forces.
Oh
I
wow.
just I just get out 2.5 years ago, and the first book speaks to my first 2.5 years in the military about knowing what you signed up for, but what happens when you find yourself in a place that you don't fit, and how do you basically make it through and survive and just basically become who you know you are,
Hmm.
and how do you show that to other people. So that's a lot of what book 1 is. I also had somebody who should have been looking out for me, in my chain of command, who was the first person driving the bus,
Hmm.
when they run it over me. And he became, so in the book, we run into Rygar Tesseris, who is the general of the Royal Army of Namel. And Rygar and his motivations are built on who that person was. Um, and basically, it's a lot of, there was a lot of trauma dumping into that book without me actually knowing it or intending it that way. And then as the story kind of develops, when you get into book 2, the world opens. We discover it's a little bit wider, and then we dial up the madness and the darkness in book 3. 4 will be kind of a nostalgic setup with a bunch of um, holy Jesus moments. And then 5, I've told people, so 5 will end up being around the length of book 1, only which is 1 is the shortest in the series. But 5 will be the same thing because 5 really starts on chapter 4 of 25, and it does not let up for the entire time. It is an all out onslaught on your eyes and your ears and everything. So that's how I really got going. And throughout the process, like, other than that one editor who took my money and then I subscribed her to every junk mail mailing list I could find on the internet,
Yeah.
uh, I did get my money back. And I did learn that when you hire people for services, you pay with a credit card and
Hmm.
not e-transfer or anything like that because you can do chargebacks.
Right.
So the bank sided with me, and she didn't want to fight
Later.
her side of it. So got all my money back. But you
That's
know
good.
what? Silver lining, man. That's what led me to Yo.
Hmm.
And Joanna's been incredible. I started with Get covers for my covers. That led me to Jay and Ignacio. Um, and then the one steady presence throughout the entirety of this series. And I kind of love it because I have something that nobody else does. Is that I have more or less parts in my books that are interactive, or they feed more than just your eyes and your imagination. So my one steady presence has been, and I talk about her a lot on my social channels, is Gia Wildwood, my wonderfully amazing Italian singer friend. She's got a voice of an angel. It's like Enya and Cher. She's incredible. Um, and she actually wrote an original theme song for book two.
Oh wow.
And once you get to, I believe it's pages 314 and 315 in book two, I have it in the front as well that explains her bio and who she is.
Hmm.
But there's a QR code on those pages that takes people to the specific song that she wrote for the novel on Spotify. And you can listen to it like a lyra
Oh,
as you read it.
that's cool.
Um, yeah, so she came back for book three with another original song.
That's awesome.
And then we're in talks right now, and what I mean by talks is we both get super excited because we talk on WhatsApp all the time. But she will be in the first chapter of book four, and she will be at the very end, just before the epilogue. She's going to end the series for me in book five.
That is cool.
So so it's something that I never saw done in a book before,
No,
and
me neither. That's so
I
immersive.
decided yeah, so I had decided, I'm like, you know what? Like I want to do this. And it's just that little bit of value added for immersion.
Oh yeah.
Um
I think that's
now
cool.
I Yeah, and I try different stuff. Like you'll go through my books and you'll find small little excerpts where there are different languages. So you'll find, like in book one, you'll find French and German. Two, you'll find French and Samoan. Three is French, German, and Italian. Four, I'm going to be bringing in Arabic and Japanese. And then book five, I'm not having anything in that. Just like I said, I want that to be just a pure onslaught where there's no point of you tripping because you're running too fast. So, but it's those little things that I wanted to just kind of bring in to bring a little bit of color to what we do. And as a Canadian, I am as English as it gets. But it's important to me, even very, very small parts in my books, to showcase French as well. So, because that is a big part of being Canadian. It's our second official language. So,
Yep.
yeah. So, yeah, it was just important to me for me to bring that forward. Sorry, my tongue's getting tied in my mouth here. Um, and yeah, so like I said, it's been a very, very tough process.
Hmm.
At least learning a lot, a steep learning curve, and just trying to make sense of things. Because the one beauty thing with the indie community is you can find people who will help you and mentor you, and whose styles that you can emulate, especially for marketing and learning. And we all do something different, and that's why I really want to shout out Willow Wraith, because it's just a collective of different people doing things different ways. And like, even for bouncing stuff off of people, or the channel we have where I post pictures of my cat, or memes, or everybody's favorite 2025 trend, making fun of Zeeb. Like, there's all sorts of different stuff, and it's nice to have that collective of people and to be a part of it. um, and just I started writing, Chris, like 4 years ago,
Hmm.
and I would never do anything differently. I wouldn't trade it for a second. The hardships, the good stuff, every bit of it was a learning opportunity. Um, and just I would recommend it to anybody, if not writing. Those I've talked to, is just some kind of creative process, because you need that color in your life. And for somebody who battles every day with diagnosed depression and anxiety, having that creative space and that escape and that little bit of being or getting to be who you are, it's so invaluable. And I wish more people could discover it.
That's awesome, man.
Mhm.
Very cool, dude. I love hearing authors' journeys all the time, and yours did not disappoint. Pretty awesome
Mhm.
stuff, man. And I'm glad you're writing. I'm glad these books exist because now I get to read them, and I'm glad that you're part of this community because now I get to call you a beast friend forever, my friend.
Absolutely, brother.
Heck yeah! All right, well, we're coming up in an hour and a half. Can you believe that? This has gone by so
No,
quick. It doesn't feel
no,
like it, but doesn't feel like it's been an hour and a half. So I think we'll wrap it up here. So before I go into my whole ending spiel, I just want to first say thank you for coming on, dude. Thank you for making time. Thank you for donating the books to give away to people and to hold that giveaway. And just thanks for taking the time to chat with me. I had a blast.
thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Before I go into my ending thing, I also want to give you the floor. If there's anything that you didn't get to mention, shout out, talk about, the floor is yours.
No, I think the only thing that I would say, and I mean it's all I can really tell the prospective authors that I run into, is just don't be afraid of it. Just
Mhm.
like Nike has it, man. Just do it. Put yourself out there.
Love it.
Like, you know what? Criticism is going to come whether you do it, whether you don't. But I heard once, well, two things really that kind of kept me going throughout the whole process is one, that every day that you delay is less words you're going to write, it's
Mm.
less books you're going to publish.
Ooh,
So
that's
the longer you wait, the more amount of stories that are going to be left untold. And
yep.
number two, what I'll leave it on is that no matter how good your book is, no matter how bad you think your book is, to someone somewhere out there, it will be the best thing they ever read. So go
That's
forward with that. And like I said, just do it.
heck
You
yeah,
won't
man.
regret it.
I love it. I love that advice. You
Mhm.
heard it here, people. So thank you, of course, Nick. Thank you. Appreciate you, my friend. Thank you all to the live chat. You guys were fantastic as always. And thank you to everybody in the replay. You guys are awesome as well. Everybody have a great night. I will be back on Thursday, right now at noon EST. I've got an exciting guest, so keep an eye out for more info on that. But enjoy your day tomorrow. Enjoy your night tonight. We'll see you in the next one. And until I do, as I always say, devour your TBRs, be brave, be beautiful to one another, and be beastly. We'll see you, everybody.